JP won't be coming, and I don't know about Stan. I don't know what's happened to Stan. So one of the things I learned, let's see, yeah, we can start. One of the things I learned in watching some videos is that the way they're uploaded to YouTube, you can only see the speaker. So you have no idea who's in the meeting. So I am going to do roll call votes at the beginning so people know who's in the room. So I would like to do that now. So I'll just go through the list. Jay Andresen. Here. Joe Banas.
Here.
JP Kwasinski. Not here. Brendan Rogers.
Here.
Jen Gallant.
Here.
And Stan Diamond is not here. Peg Conniff is here. All right, we have a quorum. We will begin. So we had minutes from December 17th, 2020. If everyone has read them, I'll take a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Oh, second.
Motion is second on the 12/17 minutes. Any discussion? Jay? Aye.
Aye.
Or no, it's entirely up to you. Joe?
Aye.
Brendan?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Peg is an aye. Okay. Minutes pass. Jay is going to produce the minutes from November 19th for our next meeting. Is there anyone from the public? No, there is not. We have no particular new business. What I have and what I recollect from our last meeting is we were going to review the presentation we are going to give to the mayor and then determine what our next meeting is. And then I'll invite her to that meeting and we will do the presentation. Then I think we had tentatively planned to do the presentation to City Council on February 3rd. So if everyone is still down with that, I'll make sure that gets on the calendar for February 3rd.
Okay.
Okay. And, all of us will be there and the City Council can ask questions of all of us around what this means, and we'll do the presentation. Okay. So let me share, because I know, Joe, you had some changes. I haven't had a chance to make them yet, so I thought I could just do them here.
Sure, they were pretty minor, frankly.
Yeah. All right. This is always a mystery how I do this. Can you see my screen in a minute? Okay. All right. So I'll go through this, and then if anyone has there's a couple of slides that I did a little out of order from the way JP had them, but we can change it. So the way the presentation goes, it starts with who we are. Then it goes into, I think this came from JP in this group. We kind of define what the senior tax work-off program is. I put an asterisk in here just to define the MGL.
Right.
Down here. Any questions on this slide? Okay.
Should we establish need?
Do we have that coming up? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Okay. Like why we're doing this even?
Yeah.
We could do that. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I'm sorry. I need a volunteer to take the minutes today.
Oh.
You're good, Jay, because, you've already got one. You already know it.
It's my time, I think.
Okay. Sorry, Brendan, but thank you.
Really quickly, just to go back a few seconds, if we need any information, we did a needs assessment in 2016, which may be helpful information to use as to reasons why we're doing it. The number one thing that came up in the needs assessment, of course, and this is in the peak of, when we were dealing with the new school, the primary concern was affordability in Easthampton and not being able to keep up with, property taxes and stuff like that. So there were 1,800 people that responded to it, and that was the top, item. So if there's anything that you guys want to use from that, I can send the PDF along.
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be great. Do you know if there was anything, like probably not a close second, but was there something that also would be applicable to this? Was there anything like we need to get out of the house more? We need to socialize more, anything like that?
I think at the time it was the overwhelming amount of responses were focusing on affordability. Outside of that, came down to transportation. But I think, housing and just general cost of living were the top two for sure. And then after that fell transportation and a couple of other.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. If you send that, then I can put in a why and then a what.
Right.
Okay. That's a good idea. Okay. Let me just see if I can. Okay, that's just going to be the why. Okay. Then I have our data in here. Depending upon how the cadence of the meeting or of the presentation goes, this slide might be more appropriate in different spots in the presentation, but it's here now. I took the map out. There was a map just because I didn't know how to speak to that. It's a visual, but I just don't know if it was necessary, but we can certainly, again, we can add anything back. So this is the data. Then this is the identification of volunteer opportunities. So kind of getting people to think about how you could create jobs and what the people would do and why you would have a senior working on your staff. Joe, jump in here if any of these were where you wanted a change. Oh, numerous towns. I know we were going to put that out.
Because I think if you look in the notes to that slide, I've got the towns listed. And since none of the other bullets deal with towns or anything like that, I thought it might be better to just take that out.
Okay. Okay. Was there one on this slide that I needed to change from your notes?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So the examples of volunteer positions, these are specific things. So the other are why you might need one and the kinds of things you might want to plug some holes with some other folks. And these are activities that they can do to kind of spur on people thinking about the kinds of things that they might want to have people doing.
Sure.
And tasks. So that makes sense. And then getting it really down to the granular, other municipalities and very specific jobs that they actually did have people do. So this is a good one to give examples of things that worked.
Sure. I think if you go to the next slide, Peg, it's got the specific examples, and I put some of that stuff in there, like for the fire department, so people could see that, yes, the fire department, the departments that you might not normally think could use a senior volunteer, they can use a senior volunteer. And I think there was a reference to the lighting plant in Wellesley where they had, most of these are lower level jobs, but that was a case of a higher level job where an electrical engineer was the senior and offered to work, and the lighting plant in Wellesley picked him up.
That's great.
Basically, it's trying to show people that you can be creative too in terms of identifying opportunities.
Yeah, no, that's great. And skill sets, like varying skill sets. You can go from basic, manning a door to an engineer. Okay. Then we just kind of talked about the specifics around how the kind of recommendations that we're going to make to the mayor effectively, or, to the broader program. And it basically, I'll just reiterate them. The pilot program will run for 3 years from July of 2021, ending June 30th, 2024. Property owner must be 60 years of age or older. Program exemptions would be assessed during the fiscal year, July 1 through June 30th. You must have home ownership and be residing in or on the property. And the amount of property tax reduction is not considered income or wages for purposes of state income tax withholding.
Peg?
Yeah.
I've got a real quick question. are you on a different slide than the one that we're seeing here?
Oh, are you guys not
Yeah.
seeing?
We're on volunteer positions right now.
I'm sorry. Then yes, I am. Wow. Let me try it a different way. Maybe I have to click on the slide.
Maybe.
Can you see that?
It still says volunteer, examples of volunteer positions.
It's so weird. Let me see if I go down further, if it will.
Oh, yeah. I see on the side that you're. There
It's
we
not
go.
moving now? It's not showing you?
Now it is.
Let me get rid of this. Maybe I shouldn't be showing this. Wait. Does that work?
Yeah, we can see it now
Does
specifically.
it say senior tax work-off recommends?
Yes.
Ah, wow, that was weird. I'm sorry, guys. It was probably weird. So let me see if I go, now how do I go back? Well,
Probably
If you right,
up arrow.
this is very, very strange.
At least this is a test run, right?
Exactly. What, yeah, good Lord. Document? No. This is very strange. How do I go to my next slide?
play. If you hit play, it'll go automatically, but I don't know if you might have to stop it at each slide.
Okay. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see 2 slides or 1?
One.
Okay. I think I'll do it that way, unless it, okay. Unless it's gonna just change on me. Okay, so
You have a question, Jen?
Yes.
I can't see anyone.
Oh, sorry. I was going to just pipe in, but I wanted to get to, I wanted you to get to where you needed to be on the screen. I just wanted to confirm that I know, we've questioned, are our dates okay in terms of audit and tax bills and stuff like that. I actually spoke with Carol Vito, the collector, about the tax cycle, and she said that the timing as we have it is perfect in terms of getting it onto the bills and stuff. And she did say the same thing that Lori had said to me originally, which was we just have to make sure that we get the information to her, meaning assessors, not Lori, at least 2 weeks before the bills are going to be cut so she can enter them in, which, I mean, the way we have it planned out, that's not going to be a problem.
Okay.
And as far as the overlay, Val hasn't gotten back to me about the timing of the role, but having been an assistant auditor, I do know that you can do a general ledger entry at any time with an effective date. So I'm less concerned about that because it'll just be a matter of the audit department moving the money whenever they want to move the money, because it is just a general ledger transaction.
And that is related to what? So what is that related to, paying the people, or is it related to the whole tax lien?
It's in relation to moving the money that the people earn from the overlay account, the tax overlay account, into like the real estate tax income account.
Okay. So, and one of the things we talked about was if we went forward with this, the way the model is that the remaining taxpayers are subsidizing those that are getting a reduction. Do we know if we did the 18,000, if we had that as the pilot? I think it's really minimal what a single family homeowner would be impacted by. But do we know that answer?
No.
Okay.
That was the one where I had said, like, I could do the logical analysis of it, but that when it comes to the tax levy, that's more Val's area. I can actually reach out. Hadel might be able to figure that out with me.
Okay.
Just so that we have it at least for the meeting, because you're right. I'm sure that residents will be asking about that.
Yeah, I mean, they need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do think, from an $18,000 perspective over however many millions,
Yeah.
The impact will be probably cents or a couple of dollars. I don't know what we thought it would be, but
Right. Yeah, it'll definitely be minimal per person,
right.
per resident, I should say.
Okay, so I'll leave that in red because we don't know yet. But the basic parameters of the program are that a person can get a maximum of $1,500. Their income limitations are as here. We're estimating anywhere between 8 and 12, and that kind of depends on the jobs that come up, the departments that are doing it, and the impact of COVID, quite frankly. So that's a moving target, but roughly. And then we're saying that it would be about $18,000. Is that 12 times 1,500?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the high end. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Let me see if I can figure out how, because I cannot see any of you right now. I've got this is so weird. Okay. Can you see that? Preparation.
Everybody looks wonderful.
Preparation. Okay. So this date will have to change to January.
Mhm.
Approval from them, possibly. No, it'll be January if we can arrange it. And then between now and March, develop the program requirements, meet with the department heads regarding possible open positions, job descriptions. So I think in the next 3 months, we need to do kind of a marketing push to all of the department heads to get them to start, coming up with some ideas around what jobs and what positions they might have in a certain sort of way. I know that the mayor, and I think I told you guys this, her concern is that it adds more work to their plates. So if they can give us ideas, we can maybe steer them into, or just having a conversation with them. We may be able to say, hey, do you need somebody to sanitize all this equipment? I don't know, for a couple of days a week. I don't know, making stuff up now, but so that's the next 3 months. And then after that, the 3 months after that are to begin to develop a marketing program where we put out videos, commercials, we broadcast them on Easthampton media. We talk about it in city council and in your board meetings, Brendan, and we start to present kind of jobs that are going to be available and what our plan is. So we market it to the broader group besides just the mayor and the city council and even the department heads. It kind of goes out much more broader to the community. And then we make sure between now and June that we have the $18,000 as part of the budget and that it's a line item that we can count on. Is there anything that we're missing? And I'm sure, underneath each of these date timeframes, there's 14 different tasks that have to happen. But I think that's the general plan. Get the approval, talk to the department heads, kind of develop a straw man of jobs and job descriptions and positions, and then start broadcasting it to the community, and then make sure we have the money, and then start broadcasting when applications can start happening, I guess.
Should we change that first one to January 2021?
I'm not in edit mode. Sakes. And it doesn't,
The other direction.
I know, it's not letting me. All right, please bear with me for one small second. All right.
Can someone remind me, maybe Jen, you can help me out with this. Can you be on both the senior tax exemption and this program at the same time? For some reason, I'm blanking on that.
Yes. I believe we determined that, yes, it was allowed. that they could do both. Because one's an exemption and this is like they're earning it or something like that. So it's not considered like an exemption in the same way.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. I just couldn't remember for whatever reason.
All right, I'm going to attempt to move to the next slide.
Could we do January 2021?
Yeah.
Okay, if you'd like to be that specific, fine. Whatever. That was very polite, Jay. Thank you. Just a thought. I don't know. Thinking outside the box. How about 2021? Okay. Going to slide 12. These are, again, illustrating for the mayor, illustrating for city council what an application might look like. These are not, obviously, I completely plagiarized these from Newton or someplace and put our logo at the top. So these are still things that can be under construction till we get to the final phase, but illustratively, and some of the jobs that are listed in here, we can always change. But I kind of, just took what was there. But yeah, these can be anything we need them to be. So it's just a sampling.
Peg.
Yeah.
What, and I apologize, I don't have my glasses. What is that highlighted portion? Oh, sorry. At the bottom.
Yeah, when I did this, I highlighted that because at the time we had not settled on the dollar.
I gotcha.
And so it was a reminder that we have to settle on the dollar, but we settled on that, so I can take the.
Okay. And that's what I just wanted to make sure it was, if it was something that needed our attention that we.
Yeah, no, you're good. I'm going to make myself a note. Okay. All right. And then I think I had the final calendar of the pilot that we launch in July. We continue to communicate, get the word out. We start to accept applications on July 15th. We are done 2 weeks later, and then we begin to review them. We start notifying folks. We do all the assessment over what? What is it? Does anybody know what the gap between August 1st and August 15th, what was happening in there? It feels like maybe all of that is still, like, we could just go August 1 to September 6th is application submission and review timeframe, financial eligibility. Like, do we want to, so August 1st is the hard stop for getting applications, right?
Yes, the way it's written here, yes. Mm-hmm.
So it almost should say that, and then maybe the next bullet is August 2nd to September 6th.
Yeah.
We're reviewing it.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to make a note. I'm not going to do it now because it'll mess up the whole thing. Okay. And then we let them know. And I'm concerned about how quickly HR would have to do the onboarding training. So, I'll follow up with Emily did we ever talk to Emily about HR?
Yeah. Actually, I spoke with her about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks now. So to alleviate some of the stuff that might be coming through to personnel, I think what, Emily and I both agreed on is that I could maybe with a board member get through the interviews. She didn't think that personnel really necessarily needed to be involved for that, but that we could set up the first stage of it, do the interviews, kind of go through who we feel is the most appropriate for whatever job or volunteer position we're looking at. And then we send them over immediately to personnel to do the conflict of interest, sexual harassment, and those things. So I think if we can streamline that, maybe with one of our board members and myself, we can get through those applications so that way, and do the interviews so that way personnel is not, being bogged down by some of that stuff. And then they can just quickly do a 30-minute, personnel training. And the conflict of interest can be done independently, and the same thing with the sexual harassment. So I don't think it should take, really it's more of the volunteers' time than personnel, from what I can see. So I think we can do it. I don't know, we'll have to find out, but I think we could at least take away some of that scheduling if we have to get through like 15 or 20 interviews and personnels in the matter, they're doing, whatever they're doing and to try to mitigate some of that. But
and I think, the very nature of the word pilot means that all of this is kind of fluid, and that, you're trying to figure out the best plan kind of as you go, because we've never done it before. And then as we get better at this could collapse a lot for the ongoing. So I think if we're in the vicinity, that's fine. I don't think we have to hit these dates exactly, because what we may learn is that notifying the applicants on September 7th, maybe they come in September 8th. We'll figure that out, but I think these are good starting points.
Peg, just to chime in here, I agree with you about the dates being good ranges, especially for the pilot. The one thing that I wanted to say when Brendan was mentioning personnel's role, I think the way I envision it is, we're going to get feedback from the department heads ahead of time, and they're going to say, okay, well, I want someone who can file, I want someone who can answer phones, I want someone who can make copies, and I want someone who has a slight knowledge of like accounting or something like that. So when the applications come in, then it's going to be like, let's go through them, and okay, this person has this experience, this person doesn't have any experience per se, but they could easily do filing or whatever, kind of like put them into buckets. And then once we do that, then it's a matter of how many do we have for each. And where I'm going with this is, if it's narrowed down so that it's, these 4 applicants would be great for accounting or, for the treasurer's office, then Brendan and I could sit in and do the interviews. Okay. And then if it is, if there's same thing like, for DPW, if they want something specific from someone and there are people that fill that, then Greg or whomever could sit with Brendan and do the interviews. Because I know, like, when we did this in Westfield, Tina did the initial the initial look through to make sure that people, had requirements that they needed. The financial check was done, that sort of thing. And then it got to a point where she would recommend and say, hey, I'm going to send this person over to you for an interview. Let me know what you think, blah, blah, blah. But I think for the pilot, it makes sense to kind of have the department heads weigh in from the get-go, because we're only picking 12 people,
Right. And I also think, it could conceivably be that we don't get 8 to 12 viable candidates, or we don't have 8 to 12 viable positions on day one. And so if people have to be deferred, and we may have to say to people, we don't have anything right now, but we're going to keep your application on file. Is this program such that, let's say on the first go round where we have September 21 to April 30th, is it such that maybe in January something different opens up? And could we in January offer people the ability to do work until April, and then that would satisfy their 2021 tax thing? And then if the job went into July or August or September, then that would be their 2022 portion, whatever the numbers are. Are we saying that that's a possibility where we're open to that, where if we don't get all 8 to 12 on September 7th, are we saying, okay, then we'll do the pilot with 4 people? Or are we saying if something else opens up, some of these other folks can fill those other openings? Because what I envision is that we may get just a few, and a couple of the department heads are like, well, let's see how this goes. And then maybe it goes really well and they go, I need somebody in January. And I want to be open to us backfilling and giving them some. Is that a possibility?
I think that, sorry, I totally jumped in front of Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
No, there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't do that, because this is a pilot test and we can sort of tweak the rules depending on how circumstances warrant.
Right.
And I think, I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but on the application, are we asking them anywhere like how many hours a week they're available? And the only reason I'm asking that is because, well, I guess it wouldn't make a difference. They just might not get the full credit if they did it in January and couldn't work, enough hours to fill up the hours.
For that tax year,
Right.
the job may then bridge over to the next tax year.
Right.
And so they get half and then half.
Yeah. Yep.
And that'll probably be a scenario we'll have to get good at managing. Because I don't see it necessarily long-term as being a one-off.
No, but I agree. I mean, if we don't get, and for the pilot and hopefully after the pilot, if we have X amount of positions that are budgeted for and, say 5 go unfilled, or, the treasurer's department's decided that, that in January, I want to start a project and I won't need anybody until then. I think it makes sense is if we have the position and we have the money, then we should fill it if and when we can.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Sure.
Okay. So the last slide is just questions. So, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Oh my God, now it's working. Okay. So do we feel good-ish about the presentation? Do we feel like it's something we could speak to with the mayor and with, confidence that we can tell the story? And I feel like we can. I can't wait. Let me stop sharing so I can see all your faces. Okay. Was that a lot of nodding?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also wanted to kind of just throw out there, I know that JP's intention last time we spoke was like each of us take a part of the presentation or whatever. And I'll be honest with you, it won't hurt my feelings at all if you don't want to share the presentation or if only a few people, and I only say that because I got a lot of other stuff going on too. So, if I don't have to deal with that, then that would be fantastic. But if you'd like to, I gladly will fit it in.
Yeah. And
it's only budget season.
Right?
It's not like the worst time to come at you with this. So is anyone really excited to do it, Joe?
That was great.
I'll do it, but I also, I want to share the love. So if somebody else wants to do it, I have no problem with that.
I guess we're going to meet with the mayor within the next week or so, aren't we, or 2 weeks?
Yeah, we got to decide that tonight.
Okay. I think for the sake of, you know the mayor and you've probably done this before with the mayor. Would it be easier if you just did it and we were there to sort of supplement, or ask or answer to questions or?
Yeah.
As opposed to too much jumping around and too many different people on board.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. But like we did tonight, I'll probably throw the ball over to someone if I'm not,
sure.
If she has questions. On the other hand, I could tell her that she can't ask questions and then that would make it go easier.
Please hold all questions to
until 3 months from now. I don't have a problem with that.
Whatever
and we can stop, as she's going, she'll have questions and then we can answer them in that way. Okay. So I'll add the why slide. And I did change the other stuff. I got to take out that highlight. Why did I have August 2nd? Why did I have August 2nd circled?
because you were going to change, it says August 1st is when the applications are due, and then the next section was the 15th to the whatever, the 6th. So you were just going to change it so that it was just right after the applications come through.
Sort of the review starts then.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay, changed. Done. All right. So when do we think we want to meet again? What's today? What is today? The 7th.
It's the 7th.
So I think Thursdays are good. So either the 14th, 21st, or 28th. Should I propose those to her? 6 o'clock each night. Are we more or less free those nights if we can't get the 21st and I get one of the other two? Can we make it work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My preference is maybe next Thursday.
The 14th?
Just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
If we can schedule it. So I'll try for that date first, and then we'll default to the other ones as we need to. But she knows this is coming, but I haven't met with her admin to set up the date. 14th. Okay. Great. Any other thoughts? So again, predicated on, let's say she approves it between the 14th and February 3rd, we'll present at the February 3rd City Council meeting. We'll plan to do that. Unless, for whatever reason, the public hearings start to back up and we end up having 2 hours of public hearings. I don't want this to get lost in all of that. I'd like it to have a little more daylight for it. So, but we'll see. I mean,
Are there hot topic items coming up on next City Council?
actually on the 20th, it's going to be a nightmare, but so far not horrible on the 3rd.
Oh.
I have the reason I keep looking over here, I have a whiteboard and I have a column for every City Council meeting. And then I have what's going to be in it. And there's a lot of white on 2, 3. So that's why I'm picking 2, 3. It looks like I'm just looking off to my imaginary friend, but not really. I actually have a whiteboard. You do what you can. Okay. What else did we want to talk about tonight? I think that was it for the agenda. I mean, we can all sit here till 7 if you want, but if we're good, and we'll plan for the 14th. I will send an email and let you guys know, thumbs up, thumbs down. I'll try for 6 o'clock so that it's pretty basic. I'll send everybody the revised presentation, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
This, just one question.
Yes, sir.
Beforehand. This is going to be, the meeting with the mayor is going to be like our meeting tonight. It's going to be a Zoom thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it will be public and it will be recorded. And the only agenda item will be presentation to the mayor. Mm-hmm. And we'll just go through this. She can ask questions, you know, whatever. And then at the end of it, she either immediately says, go forth and do it, or, you know, she owes us a response within a week, let's say, or sooner. And then we just sit and wait, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, will members of the public be able to see the presentation and chime in as well, or
they won't be able to? Well, we could couch it as a public hearing, because there can't be interaction unless it's like a public hearing. Yeah, I guess we could. We'll open. The public is always welcome.
Right.
So they could. My fear with doing that is that our purpose is to direct it to the mayor. They can come to City Council when we're doing it that way and ask all the questions they want. But the purpose here is to get the mayor educated and on board. Yeah. So they can be here, and I wouldn't be opposed to a couple of questions, but if it starts to become all questions and the mayor's just sitting there waiting for the next slide, it would not work, you know?
Agree.
So that's the way I'm thinking it will go. And then, because it's easier in City Council to couch it, you know, as a public hearing, and then they can ask all the questions they want.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what I was going to say is it probably makes more sense to kind of like you do at the council meetings, like, okay, this is tonight's public hearing, but if you have something else, then blah, blah, blah. Like maybe if public does show up, then we say, if this goes through and goes to council, there will be a public hearing before it's, decided. So, and before we have the motion to adjourn, Peg, do you have a minute to stay on after?
Yes.
Adjourn?
I will stop the recording.
With you. Perfect. Thank you.
Now I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, and on a motion to adjourn, you don't have to discuss it. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Actually, we do have to vote, though. Jay?
Yes.
Joe?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Brendan?
Aye.
Peg says aye. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
I'll let you know
Good night,
about the
guys.
meeting. Thanks. I'm going to stop the
Bye.
recording.